Growing up, I was never a fan of sports that involved hand-eye coordination. I was very clumsy, and so in order to get me active, my parents enrolled me in the neighborhood swim team. I was 6 years old, but I remember having a blast. I was lanky and a little scrawny, so that gave me an advantage in the pool. I kept with it for almost a decade. Once I started pulling away from the neighborhood kids, I began to really pursue swimming as a sport. I was enrolled in a year-round program called Swim Atlanta. For 3 years, 5 days a week, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., I was in the pool. The chlorine made my hair more blonde than it had ever been, almost a ghostly white, but I didn't care. I was obsessed. Swimming was something I could appreciate the time I put into. Every second, every millisecond was a small step towards being great at something. After being in a year-round swim program for all 3 years of my middle school, I finally made it to high school. I was ecstatic for tryouts, finally ready for the fruits of my labor to blossom. The freshmen began to line up first. I was exploding with nervousness, excitement, anxiety, but as soon as the whistle blew for us to jump off the block, I was home. I leapt into the water and glided my way through it, finishing with a 24.5 in a 50-meter race. I looked at the coach and asked if that was good, but he hadn't even seen the board because no one else had finished. The next person to place came in at 30 seconds. After that, I was on the A-list relay and individual events for my 4 years of high school. Even set a few records with my relay team, but I wasn't satisfied. I had reached the top of the pyramid of my high school, but there was still more. There was only one other time my school had won a state championship for swimming, but it was 10 years prior. I was determined to bring another trophy home before I graduated. There was one problem with my goal, though. Most of the freshmen were just trying out for fun or to make new friends. It may sound harsh, but my junior year I recruited some people from Swim Atlanta to replace the kids holding us back. We trained outside of practice for 3 months leading up to the state meet. Everyone wanted it. We were all ready to go in and dominate. After months of hardship and grueling workouts, we were ready. The day of the state swim meet came and went. For all the time we put into it, I hardly remember most of the meet itself. Flashes of encouraging kids behind the shock, stretching out before I dive into the icy water, the smell of chlorine and silicone swim caps mixed together. They all come in flashes, but I could not say for certain anything that had happened that day. All I know is I was in a trance. I had worked so hard to get here, and I was not about to psych myself out with the details. The next thing I really remember after my last race was standing on a pedestal with a medal around my neck and my arms around my teammates. We had done it. We took first place in our division for the men and the women. Our hard work had paid off. I had thought about taking my swimming career further, but the workouts and stress of it all tired me out, so I left on a high note. My senior year of high school was my final year of swimming, and I couldn't have asked for a better outcome.